afternoon. So, wala naman pumunta rito sa room 306P Pero sige. Ah, okay. So, for today, ang i-discuss lang natin or pagninilayan at least para lang may grasp tayo ng konti ng concepts is yung tinatawag na area moment method. This is your second method in determining yung displacements involving yung ating beams. So si area moment method, unlike nung counterpart niya na double integration method, deals with yung parang graphical. So we will be employing yung mastery ng geometry, pagkuha ng centroid, pagkuha ng area under the curve in particular, into obtaining yung deflection or even yung rotation. So within your beam. So ang pinanggalingan niya basically is on reviewing yung concept natin ng slope, curvature, at saka deflection. So parang meron tayong circles since we're talking about curvature. So i-revisit lang natin yung circle na yan. And what we have actually here are the following. So meron kang radius of curvature. Ito yung na-mention last time, nung last meeting natin. Ito yung distance ng neutral axis to the center of curvature. Itong rho na ito. At the same time, we also define yung tinatawag na central angle. So, meron kang central angle dyan. Then, kapag pinag-multiply mo yung dalawa, meron kang arc length S na ganyan. So, we know that S, yung arc length natin ay equal to the center of curvature, radius of curvature multiplied by the central angle. And kung babalik rin natin, knowing na constant yung radius of curvature natin, lang natin siya, i-rearrange such that yung rho, yung hinahanap natin, so meron ka ngayon na S over theta. Pero syempre, yung inverse yung kinuha natin. Ito yung pinanggalingan ng Euler-Bernoulli formulation natin. Dito nang gagaling yung d squared y over dx squared, just like last time. So, if inassume natin na meron tayong infinitesimal central angle, so meron kang makukuha na infinitesimal arc length, ds, right there. So, kung ginawa mong infinitesimal, ito is basically equal pa rin dito na equal dun sa radius of curvature. Yung isang in-extend lang natin na notion is concerning very small angle. So we apply yung small value approximation on which over very infinitesimally small na arc length. So suppose meron kang arc length na ganyan, it's very small to the point na rather than an arc, you can treat it as if meron kang horizontal line. So yung ds, yung definition ng arc length can be translated as if we're describing yung infinitesimal length ngayon. So yung d theta over ds natin will be equal to d theta, parang the derivative of theta with respect to x. So with respect to length. And if i-recall natin yung Euler-Bernoulli formulation natin, we have this value. So yung sinimplify natin na value, so nawala lahat ng terms dun sa numerator nung row natin, so naging equal lang to 1. So yung nasa denominator is this one. So therefore, yung approximated value ng ating radius of curvature will be the second derivative of your deflection with respect to x, which we also know to be equal to m over di. So, continuing lang on that thought process, we arrive at the point na yung derivative nung inyong central angle, or pwede mo sabihin na kinda approximating yung slope. So yung change of central angle over length will be equal to m over di. And ayusin pa natin to ng konti. Lipat lang natin tong dx papunta dito. So we have this integral term, differential term. So yung derivative ng central angle will be equal to m over EI times Px. So over these small value approximations, ay yung central angle daw natin is approximately equal to the relative slope between the ends of the selected segment. So you'll be introduced kapag sa area moment method, meron na tayong relative slope and meron na rin tayong relative or slash tangential displacement. So pag in-integrate natin yung value na to, yung expression na to, we arrive at the first theorem ng area moment method natin. So what basically ang sinasabi nito ay so parang all of those derivations will ultimately lead into this theorem na gagamitin natin graphically. So parang what we are saying is if we were to evaluate yung m over EI function, so halimbawa yung ating moment function, signified natin by EI, tapos in-integrate natin siya with respect to x, and define natin yung bounds. So rather than doing yung double integration na approach na na wala kang upper and lower bounds ng integration natin, dito meron kang upper and lower bounds ng integration natin. So from point A to point B, parang yun lang yung na-establish natin dito. So if in-integrate mo now siya on this manner, what we are actually evaluating is yung relative slope of the tangent line from point B with respect to the tangent line at point A. And to have this part appreciated, we need to imagine yung bent shape ng ating beam. So supposedly, ito yung original shape niya before you apply any bending na action. So pag sinubject mo siya under bending, yung in red, yung magiging deform shape niya. So yung red magiging deform shape niya. And alam natin na pa-curve lahat ito. So these all feature a center of curvature. And since curve siya, if kinuha natin yung point of concern natin, si point A, merong tangent line. That kind of represents yung slope ng deform shape na yon. And similarly, ganun din yung sa point B din natin. Kung gumawa tayo ng tangent line dito, yun yung slope ng deform shape natin at point B. So we have this tangent line right here, and we have this tangent line right here. So you have tangent line at A, and we do some little bit of algebra. So if ito yung na-establish natin na slope, so nakuha natin is actually representing a central angle A. Wait lang Wait lang natin sa room. Okay. So meron kang central angle defined by this tangent line right here. So yung niya with respect to horizontal is theta A. Tapos meron ka rin at point B na tangent line. So yung inclination niya is defined by theta B. So yung angle na yon is being drawn. So meron kang horizontal axis, then ito yung angle na yon. Meron tayong horizontal axis dyan. Ito yung angle na yan. So yan yung mga central angles natin. So what happens or what is this term actually describing? So tinutukoy lang nito is the angle that the tangent line at B is making with respect to A. So parang tinatanong natin, okay, if you're looking at the tangent line at B, yung inclination ni point B, anong angle siya? So this one is actually your relative slope. Ito yung theta B with respect to A. So makukuha mo siya if kinuha natin yung area under the curve ng ating moment function. So we leave it hanging muna. So parang may pinapa-require sa atin area ng moment function natin. So although may integral term kayo nakikita dyan, so there are other ways to evaluate yung area even without using integration. So yun yung gusto nating i-employ na method dito. So what we are getting on approaching this through area moment method is meron kang relative slope. So hold muna natin yan kasi sa dulot pa talaga natin ma-appreciate ito. So we have relative slope. So what do we mean by relative slope? Ginawa lang natin, since sinabi natin na si point A, yung observer natin, yung tangent line at point A yung observer natin, then si point B, yung ino-observe natin, what we are actually doing is ni-rotate natin siya para lang mag-shift yung perspective. Nag-adjust tayo dun sa perspective ng tangent line at point A. So, in-assume natin na siya yung horizontal. So, yung ngayon, yung tangent line at B, so it kind of makes some slope with respect to the tangent line at A. So yung slope na nakuha mo is actually yung yung area ng inyong yung area under the curve ng moment function nyo. So doon siya magiging equal. So not the angle, but the slope of the tangent line at B, considering the axis of the tangent line at A. So what is this describing actually is yung slope being equal to rise over run. So yung rise na yun, ito yung parang pwede natin sabihin later on na infinitesimal projection ng relative displacement. So meron kang relative displacement na merong sa display shape natin ay merong kang na-observe na point which is point 2, then chine-check natin siya with respect to point 1. So ano-ano yung ma-admit lang natin sa room. Ano-ano yung kailangan nating i-take note. So far, what we are getting, so if we have point 1 right here, and say we have point 2 right here. So, in-assume muna natin na si point 1 ay nandun sa pin na support. So, we consider na may point load at the midspan. So, yan yung i-work on natin na concept. Then, after applying that force, so, na-subject siya to bending, then itong inviolate yung itsura ng bend shape natin. So, kaya natin nilagay at the pin support, alam natin na at this point right here, wala kang displacement along the vertical. Pero meron kang rotation. So, meron kang rotation na theta. So, meron kang tangent line passing through point 1. That represents yung slope at point 1. So, sloping down siya. So, ang ginawa natin dito sa tangent line na to ay pinroject natin siya till it reaches yung below ng point 2. So, meron tayo nito. So, if this is your slope and slope is rise over run, then binigay natin yung run na to be the distance between point 2, horizontal distance between point 2 and point 1. What we are actually getting is this very, kailangan ko na ibang kulay, this projection. So meron kang projection na mabe-breakdown into 2. So yung projection na yon ay nabale into 2. Yung una ay yung tinatawag natin na relative displacement. So ito yung relative displacement. Simula dito hanggang dito. Hindi siya all the way simula rito. Galing lang siya dun sa bend shape niya. So yung yung deformed shape niya, so yung location niya, yung new location niya after applying itong force and nag-bend siya, papunta dun sa pinroject ng tangent line. Papunta dun sa pinroject tangent line. So meron so ang ginawa ng slope na yon ay na-project siya na na line, Then right below the point of concern, gumawa ka ng vertical line that intersects that tangent line. So yun yung ginawa natin so far. And what I'm mentioning is this vertical line right here is the sum of two distinct values. Yung una is yung relative displacement. This one right here. Mamaya babalikan natin yan. This is part ng second theorem natin. Then meron tayong deflection. So yung actual na displacement niya from the undeformed na state papunta dun sa deformed na state. So ito yung magiging deflection evaluated at point 2. So pag pinag-add ko yung deflection at point 2 dun sa relative displacement ni point 2 with respect to point 1, yun basically yung projection na ginawa ng tangent line passing through point 1. Yung vertical projection niya. So we kind of have this equation right here. So pag minultiply ko yung slope ng passing through point 1, minultiply ko siya with the length, then minus ko siya with y2, minus ko ito, so bawas na to, so ito na lang yung natira. Then at the same time, binawas din natin kung ano yung value dinagdag natin kung ano man yung value ni y1, so yan yung initial value niya. That will be yung vertical projection natin. This one right here. So I hope please raise your hand if meron kayong question. Makikita ko naman kung nag-raise kayo ng hand. So I give you around 30 seconds to digest. So again, meron tayong slope. Ibang usapan yung relative slope Yung slope at point 1, absolute slope 'yon. At parang with respect to the horizontal natin siya sinukat. So with respect to the horizontal, iba yung ginagawa ng sa first theorem natin. Ito yung relative slope, ito yung absolute slope natin. Ito yung relative slope, ito absolute slope. That's first distinction. Pangalawa, meron tayong displacement at point 2. Then meron tayong relative displacement. So meron kang displacement, meron kang relative displacement. Pag pinag-add mo yung dalawa, yun yung vertical projection ng relative displacement di point 2 with respect to point 1. Kaya naging ganito siya kasi relative projection siya ng relative displacement. So whatever is the difference between the two, yun yung magiging relative displacement niya. Now, we begin to ask, ano ngayon si relative displacement? So itong part na ito, yung relative displacement natin. So yung relative displacement natin ay basically nanggaling sa following. So if na-acknowledge natin na yung slope is rise over run, so pag ni-rearrange lang natin, meron kang rise is equal to slope times run. So ito yung length x, tapos yung slope mo. So what we'll be having here is this notation right here. Basically, yung rise, yung change along y na so maski tumaas or bumaba, depende sa deflection niya, is equals to x d theta. While at the same time, we acknowledge that d theta is already evaluated from this portion right here. Meron na tayo nakuha for d theta. And ang ginawa lang natin, sinubstitute lang natin siya papunta dito. So yung change in so ito na yung magiging change in rise natin will be equal to x tapos meron kang m over ei dx. So it all amounts to, kapag in-integrate natin to your relative displacement between those 2 points B and A. And what does this look like? This is your first moment of area under the curve. So you have na first moment of area under the curve that is defined by XA as the lower bound and XB as your upper bound. And that will be the second theorem of your area moment method. So very, very vague pa yung ano na to, yung theoretical background niya. And hindi pa natin nakikita yung advantages and disadvantages. Kasi gusto nga natin makita siya ma-put into action. Doon lang natin siya ma-appreciate. Pero I'm already enlisting bakit kailangan or bakit advantageous sometimes na gumamit ng area moment method. Sa board exams ng civil engineering in particular, ito yung mas preferred na method na gamitin. Kasi yung pag-solve ng slopes at saka deflection is solely done using geometry. So kung walang integration tool, yung calculator natin, okay lang. O kung ayaw na nakalimutan na natin yung math series natin, okay lang din. We can roll back into your geometry involving your areas and your set points. And kung ayaw nga natin ng Macaulay functions or yung singularity function natin or even those discontinuous functions which hindi pa natin na-discuss dun sa double integration method because I hope na after Holy Week natin siya i-revisit ulit. So, iniiwasan natin na malula tayo sa mga moment functions natin. And this is best coupled with moment diagram by parts. Moment diagram by parts is an important skill set for you to conduct your area moment method. Because you're dealing with areas, kailangan tama yung magagawa mo na areas that represent yung bending moment or yung moment diagram na kinokos ng lahat ng external forces mo onto your beam. So yun yung ginagawa ni moment diagram by parts. Instead, as a whole, mo kinukuha yung bending moment diagram per parts, per external force, yung pagkuha mo ng moment diagram mo. So pag marami kang i-illustrate kung gaano karaming external forces mo na present within your system, ganun din karami at most yung gagawin mong moment diagram or moment diagrams kasi marami nga siya. So by parts mo siya gagawin. So sa moment diagram by parts, gusto nating magawa siya yung moment functions natin into shapes that we can be familiar with. And kailangan natin ng point of reference to draw moment functions para magawa natin yung mga shape. Kasi parang ini-imagine natin na eventually pagdating dito sa reference point na to, ito yung magiging value ng bending moment natin. So yun yung tinatanong natin. And it always comes after the solution of your external forces. So magagawa mo lang to once na nakuha mo ng FBT, then all of the external forces are accounted for. Siyempre, best to represent that with an example. So we have this example right here kapag magmo-moment diagram by parts tayo. So you have a simply supported beam with a uniformly distributed load W, then merong length L siya. So, syempre, ang una natin gagawin ay gagawin yung force body diagram. So, what we have is point A. You have, so, reaction force dahil dun sa pin na support. Reaction force dahil dun sa roller na support. Then meron din tayong uniformly distributed load. So yun yung external forces natin. So kung binilang natin, 1, 2, and 3. So tatlo yung external forces natin. Tapos, alam natin yung classic, yung pinagdaanan na natin sa paggawa ng shear and bending moment diagram. So gagawin natin yung shear diagram. We know that the value of the line load will represent yung slope nung shear function natin or ng shear diagram natin. So kung omega yung W yung negative W since downwards yung slope ay yung value ng loading, so negative W yung slope niya. So pinahanap nga natin, 'di ba, yung theory din ng maxima kung saan nagsi-zero yung shear kasi since derivative ni bending moment si shear, so kung saan nag-zero si shear, doon nagma-maximum si bending moment natin. So we can compute accordingly. So ganito yung classic na way na natutunan natin on our module 12, yung paggawa ng shear and bending moment diagrams. However, since we're talking about moment diagram by parts, we instead, rather than going through yung shear diagram, pwede na natin siyang idiretso to moment diagram. And the analysis will be broken down into parts. So, bawat isa na yan, bawat isa na ginagawa natin ng diagram is in fact representing yung ginagawa natin sa Macaulay function. So, lahat ng terms ng Macaulay function natin, ginagawa natin actually siya ng moment diagram. So, by parts natin siya ginagawa. Rather than a single na graph, so meron kang multiple na graphs or multiple na areas representing your moment diagrams. So, to eliminate one external force, so in particular dito ay yung point load at the roller at the rightmost end. So, doon tayo magsiset ng reference point para yung inyong moment arm will be equal to 0. So walang moment arm yung reaction force at the rightmost end. So what ang involved lang ngayon ay yung line load natin at saka yung reaction force at point A. So yun lang yung nag-i-influence sa bending moment dito. Nag-i-imagine ka na kunwari may fixed support dito, then how is your shear bending moment developing per each part. So pwede mong on your first analysis, pwedeng yung reaction force lang dito, then wala itong line load. Sa second na diagram na ginagawa mo, wala itong point load na nandito, tas itong line load lang yung present. So kung ginawa natin yun, so for the sake of example, tinanggal ko muna yung line load. So goodbye line load. Nag-focus lang ako doon sa point load. So yung point load AY right there. Tapos since ito yung reference point natin, kukunin natin yung farthermost end, yun yung magiging starting point natin dito. So meron kang ina-identify na distance x. And suppose meron nga tayong na-identify na distance x dyan, so yung hiwa nga natin ay ganito, then what you'll have on this plane right here is meron tayong bending moment and meron tayong shear. So recall yung conventions natin concerning shear and bending moment. So you have shear and you have bending moment, but we can go straight into your bending moment function. And actually what this is actually representing, yung makukuha mo na M dito sa moment diagram by parts, so meron kang AY times X. So ito yung Macaulay function nung point load dito. So we know na with this equation right here, that your moment increases as x increases. And linear yung rate of increase niya. So the shape of your diagram, therefore, will look like the one in blue. This one. So linearly siya nag-i-increase. Then pagdating sa pinakadulo, dun sa reference point natin. So ano yung magiging value niya? Yun yung tinatanong lang natin. So we know that this is linear, so first degree. So this is triangular, yung shape ng ating moment function. Tapos yung value niya will be equal to the moment nung point load evaluated at point C. Yung value ng point load natin ay ng reaction force natin from your equilibrium equations derived from your FBD is that it is equal to WL over 2. And yung WL over 2 na yan, with respect to point C, so di pala point B, point C, ay meron siyang moment arm na L. So meron siyang moment arm na L. So ito yung value ni A, Y, ito yung moment arm niya, yung N. So yun yung itsura ng moment diagram by parts nung point load or nung reaction force natin at the leftmost end. For the line load, since 0 degrees siya, in-anticipate din natin, di ba, ang itsura ng Macaulay function niya ay ito, negative W x squared over 2. Since na-mention na si moment diagram mo is yung visual representation ng bawat terms ng Macaulay function mo. Since negative na term siya, negative na area to. So meron tayong negative area dyan. And since x squared, so meron kang degree 2 dun sa inyong moment function. Moment diagram by parts nito in red. Then after that, you simply evaluate kung anong value ng bending moment nung line load mo at the reference point. So at the reference point, meron kang force na WL. Then yung moment arm niya is on the centroid. So yung centroid itong line load na to, so kalahati. So L over 2. So therefore, we have this bending moment diagram for your line load. And let us confirm lang side by side kung ano or consistent ba yung ginawa natin dun sa ginawa natin na classic method. So yung classic method natin, ito yung itsura ng moment diagram natin. So it started with 0 and it ended at 0. So yan yung golden rule natin for simply supported na beam particular. So kung i-check natin, sa pinaka leftmost end, 0 yung pula, 0 yung blue. So 0 yung bending moment dito. Let's check naman natin on the other hand. So meron kang WL squared over 2 for the blue. Then meron kang negative WL squared over 2 dun sa pula. So magka-cancel out siya. So 0 yung value ng bending moment dito. So it holds true that your bending moment diagram, if you were to combine these two together, will start at 0 and it will end at 0. So yan naman yung assurance natin on this. So kaya natin siya ginagawa ngayon by parts kasi if we look, we only have to deal with triangles. We only have to deal with spandrels. And I know yung area ng spandrel and I also know yung area ng aking triangle. So, yung MDP naman din ay regardless kung anong reference point yung ginamit natin. From our example, at point C, yung reference point na ginamit natin. Pero pwede rin naman on other points. Pwedeng kay point A, pwede rin naman kay point B. Wala namang tama or mali na reference point na pwedeng gamitin for your moment diagram by parts. We are only making suggestions kung saan mapapadali ng konti yung ating solution. Hindi tayo malulula dun sa mga shapes na na-derive natin from the moment diagram ng bawat external force natin. So what do I mean by that? So suppose naglagay ako ng MDP at the middle. Yung MDP at the middle ko ngayon, so meron akong reference point dito, meron akong value ng point load at point A, so meron din akong value ng point load at point C. So, tapos meron pa akong, so sa point B, meron akong line load dito. Tapos dito rin, meron din akong line load dyan. So, yun yung kailangan kong gawa ng moment diagram. And magmamatter ngayon, yung left to right and yung right to left na paradigm on this. And to revisit ulit kung anong meaning ng left to right at saka right to left na paradigm, balikan lang natin yung sa isa. Yung if we were to do yung left to right na internal bending moment natin, so pag left to right yung internal bending moment function na ginagawa natin, sinet natin yung reference natin at point A. So yan yung reference point niya. Kung left to right. Kung right to left ay point C, yung sinet natin na reference point. So, ang itsura ng bending moment natin by parts. So, at point A, meron kang C reaction force at C na upwards. It's causing a counterclockwise rotation. So, kailangan ay ma-counter siya ng clockwise na action. So, yung clockwise na action na yon is yung A pointing upwards. So, yun yung masosolve natin. Kaya meron kang WL squared, ay WL over 2 as your value for A. Now, at point C din, yun din, point C, yung reaction force niya ay WL over 2 din. Pero ito na yung reference point natin. So, ginagawa natin, nagka-cut tayo anywhere along this segment right here, some distance x, then ine-evaluate natin kung ano yung internal bending moment. With the convention of counterclockwise being positive na bending moment natin. So, kung titingnan natin, si point C, yung nagkukos ng external na clockwise rotation, ay counterclockwise na rotation. So, to counteract that, kailangan meron kang meron kang clockwise na internal bending moment. And since we're going right to left dito, so magre-reflect yon as positive. So this one right here. So if we start at this point, ito yung itsura ng moment diagram by parts nung inyong point load at point B. So By times X, so kung Macaulay function yung katumbas, so yung By ay equal to WL over 2. Then on top of your spandrel na nagawa from the moment diagram ng inyong line load. So doon nagmamatter kasi kung nasa middle yung reference point natin. Whether paano yung positive, ano yung negative na internal bending moment. Or in particular, ano yung moment diagram by parts nung na madederive mo following those conventions. So you can imagine, halimbawa, the inverse of the triangular load as a function of distance x from the fixed end. Nawawala na. Okay, sige. So, pag ginawa natin yun, ay na-skip pala to. So, this is example 1. This is example 2. So, basically, ang pinagdaanan nito ay double integration method. So, skip lang natin siya. Iba rin yung left to right to left. So, parang ang takeaway dito sa part na ito is if dito tayo nagsimula sa paggawa ng Macaulay function natin, medyo madugo yung mga functions kakaharapin natin, pati integrations na gagawin natin. This one right here. Kumpara kung right to left. So kung right to left, medyo mas maikli yung solution process dun sa pagkuha natin ng moment functions. So ganun din actually yung takeaway dun sa AMM natin. So for example, ay meron kang point load at the midspan. So sa point load at the midspan natin, ginawa natin siya ng FBD. So sa FBD natin, pwede din natin ma-derive yung shear, pwede din natin ma-derive yung bending moment. Ito yung classic na approach natin. But what we're actually demonstrating here is kung gagawin mo siyang moment diagram by parts with point B as your reference point, so yung left end, so wala na tong ambag sa moment diagram by parts. Ito na lang gagawin mo ng moment diagram by parts. Ito na lang yung gagawin mo ng moment diagram by parts. So meron kang katumbas na Macaulay function for that. Ito yung nire-represent ng Macaulay function na yon, yung moment diagram by part na ito. Ganun din dito. So ito yung moment diagram by part niya. So zoom out ko lang ng konti. So kung double integration method, ito yung pagdadaanan natin. So you have moment function. I-divide mo by EI, yung moment function natin. Then i-integrate mo. Yun yung slope function natin. So meron kang P, tas yung X, in-integrate mo, naging X squared over 2. So kaya naging PX squared over 4EI siya. Tapos meron kang P din dito, tapos multiplied by yung integral nito. So yung integral is this value right here. So this expression na open and close parenthesis divided by 2. So meron kang ganito na term. Integrate mo ulit once more, meron kang elastic curve. So yung description ng deflection natin in terms of equations, but along the way, meron kang nakuha na constant na C1 and C2, and katulad lang nung sa double integration method natin, kinailangan pa nating applyan ng boundary condition para ma-solve si C2 and para ma-solve din si C1. Then only after that, hanapin natin kung saan maximum yung slope natin and saka natin malalaman kung saan nagma-maximum yung bending moment natin, substitute that value of x, makukuha natin yung maximum na displacement natin. So yun yung overall procedure ng DIM natin. For AMM, it's kinda straightforward. So parang ang gusto kasi nating kaya natin to ginawa, i-set yung expectations na eventually, using the same set of parameters, using another method, ang lalabas ay PL cube over 48 EI. So yan yung ine-expect natin if we were to do yung AMM. So si AMM ay yung una mong pwedeng gawin, particularly for simply supported beam, is to get yung relative displacement ng point na ito with respect to the other point. So ano ba itong dalawang point na ito? Ito yung mga supports natin. So sa supports natin, may restraints doon. So dito, hindi siya pwedeng gumalaw along the vertical. Ito rin, hindi pwedeng gumalaw along the vertical. So yung ginagawa natin na trick, so kung kinuha na natin ng relative displacement ito, tsaka ito, dapat equal to 0 kasi 0 lang ito, 0 din ito. So 0 minus 0. So what we'll be getting is 0 displacement. However, sa pag-setup muna, kailangan nating i-establish yung relative displacement na formula. So relative displacement na formula, what we are evaluating is yung relative displacement to point B with respect to point A. So napansin nyo, hindi na tayo tumuloy dun sa integration na part. Ito yung nakuha natin from parang yan yung generalized na equation for area moment method. This one right here. So kinuha lang natin siya papunta dito. So ito yon. Kasi may establish natin yung distance between point B and point A. So ito yung point A, ito yung point B. Total distance niya ay L. Tapos at the same time, alam natin na 0 yung displacement ni point B, 0 yung displacement ni point A. So meron kang absolute slope ni point A multiplied by L, and that will be equal basically on your relative displacement between point B and point A. So ito yung projection na nangyari. So we are getting yung first moment of area. So yung first moment of area natin, so for the so ito yung MDP ginagamit natin, ito yung reference point natin. So kung ine-evaluate natin yung relative displacement ni point B with respect to point A, so meron tayong area and yung centroid dito ay measured from the point being observed, which is point B. So gaano kalayo yung centroid from point B? Gaano kalayo yung centroid from point B. So, etong in blue, yung centroid niya ay nandito. So, yung distance niya from point B is L over 3. However, since we're going to the left, kailangan na natin i-account for yung signs. So, yung L over 3 na yan ay negative L over 3. So, kaya siya nag-reflect na ganito. At the same time, etong in blue is above your horizontal. So therefore, what this pertains to is a positive na area. So yung positive na area natin ay, nasa na yun, naligaw na konti. So yun, yung area natin ay ito. So 1/2 base times height. So that is the first one dun sa second theorem natin. Yung second one is itong triangle natin. So yung triangle natin, meron siyang base na L over 2, meron siyang height na PL over 2EI. So ito yung M over EI natin. Tapos yung centroid niya is 1/3 ng kalahati. So 1 over 6. And since ito yung reference, ito yung point B, yung kinukuha na natin ng relative displacement, so susukatin natin yung distance ng centroid from that point of concern. So we have 1/3 ng L over 2, so meron tayong L over 6. So we have this whole equation right here. So yan yung first moment of area that is bounded by point B and point A. That will also represent yung relative slope relative displacement ni point B with respect to point A. And since na-evaluate natin na 0 si YB, na-evaluate natin na 0 si YA, kailangan nating yung makukuha natin na information, so meron ka ng L, meron ka ng total area rito, first moment of area, so may relative displacement ka na. So yung relative displacement natin, so itong in blue, magiging ganito, PL cube over 12 EI. Yung in red, magiging PL cube over 14 EI, 48 EI. So i-add mo yung dalawa, you have PL cube over 16 EI. And actually, itong part na to is yung parang change in rise. So meron kang slope multiplied by run, which is L. So if gusto nating i-isolate yung absolute slope, the point A, divide mo lang both sides by L, so meron kang theta A is equals to PL squared over 16 EI. So meron kang absolute slope dito. So yun yung absolute slope na nakuha natin from the second theorem. So sa second theorem natin dito. Okay. Now, since nakuha na natin na ito yung absolute slope at point A, we can find the point kung saan nagsi-zero yung natin, yung slope natin. Kasi we know the theory of maxima, so absolute slope to. We know the theory of maxima kung saan nagsi-zero yung ating slope, doon nagkakaroon ng maxima. So hanapin lang natin yung point X evaluated at point A. So hinahanap natin saan kaya pwedeng magiging zero yung ating ating bending moment. So we take advantage of the first theorem. So yung first theorem represents yung area under the curve ng M over EI functions natin ay magiging equal to your the difference between your two tangent lines on your 2 points that bounds your area na value dun sa kinuhanan natin sa M over EI. So meron tayo na slope at point X, meron tayong slope at point A. So sinabi lang natin, okay, we're finding the point kung saan nagsi-zero yung ating slope. So we know na dun sa point na hinahanap natin at distance X, 0 yung slope niya. since relative slope siya, so i-minus mo siya sa slope at point A. So ito yung relative slope na ine-evaluate natin, which is equal to the total area under the curve. So what we have managed to derive from here is we have an area of the triangle that is bound by or defined by yung base na equal to x, tapos yung height na equal to yung inyong how do I put this? Yung similar triangle. So using similar triangles. So this is obtained using similar triangles. So inassume lang natin muna na hanggang bago sa gitna or hanggang sa gitna lang para hindi pa kasama yung in red. So if given na equal to 0 to, then sinimplify natin to. Meron tayong negative theta A is equals to this value right here. So yung negative theta A natin ay equal to negative PL squared over 16 EI. So negative plus negative, naging positive na. Tapos meron kang PLX squared over 4 EIL. So magka-cancel out lang yung L na part dyan. So meron kang PL squared over 16 EI is equals to PX squared over 4 EI. The only way for this to be true is kung positive or negative L over 2 yung value natin ng x. And we know na based naman sa reference system natin, wala namang negative value for x. So we take the positive value, which is L over 2. So doon pa lang, so even without the point na okay, mag-i-integrate pa tayo, then saka tayo magdi-differentiate para makuha kung ano yung slope function natin and saan nagsi-zero yung value natin. Naging graphical na lang lahat. Yung pagkuha ng slope at point A, then yung pagkuha kung saan nagsi-zero yung slope, naging graphical na lang. So everything becomes a little bit of geometry with a little bit of algebra. In-eliminate na natin yung calculus gaano na part. So to get the max deflection, papakuha ngayon yung value ng relative displacement ni point X with respect to point A, which can be determined by evaluating the first moment of area of this area right here that we have defined with respect to point X. So ito yung magiging reference natin. So we have yung area, 1/2. Tapos meron kang base. Ito yung base natin, L over 2. Yan yung nakuha natin. Times yung height. So gusto nating malaman kung ano yung value nito. We use similar triangles. So yung total height nito, multiplied by length x, divided by length L. That's why we have this term right here. So overall, this would represent yung area ng triangle natin. Yung location ng centroid niya from point X. So, itong X na to, so kung L over 2 siya, 1/3 ng L over 2. So, meron tayong L over 3. But that L over 6 is going to the left. Kaya nag-reflect ngayon siya as negative na value dito. So, meron kang relative deflection na equal to PL squared over 96 EI. So, i-account for lang natin lahat siya papunta dun sa expression natin, yung generalized na formula natin. So you have yung relative displacement being equal to the vertical projection nung sa slope natin. So meron kang theta A times yung this length or distance between point X and point A. Then inad natin yung value at point A, yung reference point natin, yung baseline natin. Tapos meron kang hinahanap na maximum deflection. So parang tinutukoy lang natin with this setup, this is known, this is known, this is known. Ito yung magiging unknown natin. Ito, alam na rin natin. Ito, alam na natin to be equal to 96 PL cube over 96 EI. PL cube over 96 EI. So meron ka dito on the right-hand side na equation. And this part would require you to plug in yung nakuha natin at yung na theta at point A. So meron kang negative PL squared over 16 EI. Tapos yung length between point X, kung saan maximum yung natin, deflection, and point A ay L over 2. Then, after that, ay meron kang minus. So, 0 na yung YA natin. So, ang natira na lang is yung Y max natin. Kung ano yung magiging maximum slope natin. So, i-rearrange lang natin to. Ito, lipat natin sa kabila. Ito, ilipat natin sa kabila. And what we'll get is, okay, tingnan muna natin, PL cube over 32 EI. So we have this one right here minus this one right here, or rather, this one right here minus this one right here. So what we'll have is PL cube over 48 EI, which is basically the same na nakuha natin using double integration method. So that's how you reconcile those two methods. So the one method, the double integration method, heavily relies on your calculus, your mastery of imposing your boundary condition into knowing yung specific values from your general solution. Your AMM deals with areas, so as long as you know your areas and your locations of centroids na formula, you can do just fine into solving kung ano yung value ng displacements at saka ng slope. Yeah. So for any other point, ganun lang naman din yung gagawin natin. So for any other point, so halimbawa gusto natin makuha kung ano yung deflection at that point. So at distance y. So meron kang distance x, tapos pinroject lang natin yung from the absolute slope ni point A, tapos minus lang natin eventually. So nire-arrange lang natin lahat ito. Nire-arrange lang natin yung formula natin, yung generalized formula. So ito na yung hinahanap natin all the time. Nilipat natin dito, ito nilipat natin dito. Kaya naging ganito yung equation natin. So meron ka nito, then meron ka nito, and what we'll get is this. And kapareho actually siya na makukuha natin sa DIM. Kapareho ito nung DIM na function natin. So ito yung DIM na function natin. So nasa na yun? So ito, yung PL cube over 12EI minus PL cube over 48EI. So that is area moment method in a nutshell. Pero hindi pa natin siya mahihimay. I would want to focus today on your problem set. So kamusta ang problem set natin? Kamusta ang problem set? So feel free na magsalita or mag-chat. So hirap kausap yung tablet. Alam ko, tinutulugan niyo lang ako dyan. So ano rin ako, kalahating tulog din ako nagle-lecture. Joke lang. Check natin, set 2 course materials. Then we have yung problem solving quiz. Preview quiz natin. Masaya. Kamusta ang ating quiz? Yan, wait lang, di pa po tapos, di po masaya. Sir, negative po. Okay. Need help. Okay. So, taas ang kamay nung nangangailangan ng tulong. Pagtulong talaga, biglang naging alisto at nagtaasan ng kamay. So, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wala pang kalahati . 7. Okay, sige. Tignan natin yung problem. Sige, kokopyahin ko lang to. Save to photos. And lipat tayo papunta sa naku. Sige. Ilang na-aksidente na-end yung meeting. Kailan humingi ng tulong. Okay. So we have a simply supported T-section beam ABCD, ABCD with complete shear diagram shown provided, determine the following. So the reactions at point A and point D. So reactions at point A and point D. So we need to at least scrutinize or examine kung ano yung nangyayari dito sa shear diagram natin. So again, what we mentioned is any vertical na changes sa ating or sudden vertical changes dun sa ating shear diagram would represent yung force natin. So we actually are see are seeing na at this point tumaas siya by 2 kilonewtons. So yan yung reaction force natin at point A. And binigay naman din, okay, simply supported beam. So pag simply supported beam, sinabi lang kapag simply supported beam, yung ends niya ay ganito. So eto na agad yung yung takeaway diyan. Pag simply supported beam, meron kang pin and roller at your ends. So meron kang reaction force there. Then meron pang isang point kung saan nagkaroon ng disruption ng ating reaction ng shear diagram natin, vertical changes. Ito. So nagkaroon ng pababa 2 kilonewtons. So yan yung magiging reactions at point A and point D natin. So based sa shear diagram natin, ito yung nakuha natin. So meron kang 2 dyan, mas meron din tayong 2 dito. And after that, tinatanong, what is the magnitude of the applied moment at point C? So sa pagkuha ng magnitude ng applied bending moment at point C, alahanin lang natin na every time na gumagawa tayo ng moment diagram ay kailangan nagsasara yung tindahan natin. So meron kang simply supported beam. So we know for sure na dapat it should start at 0 and it should end at 0. So yan yung ultimate na target natin. And the conversion will go as follows. So sinabi na okay, what we have is these terms right here. So we have a second degree na curve. So what we wanted to get is ano yung area nito. Ano yung area nito. That will represent yung change ng inyong bending moment. Tapos meron ka pang panibagong area rito. So meron kang triangular loop. So yan yung magiging change ng bending moment mo from point B to actually hanggang point C. Kung ano yung magiging magbabago sa bending moment natin. Then, ano yung magbabago? Kailangan, check ko lang. Spandrel. Okay. Okay. Sige. Tapos, on this last segment right here, yung area nito, ano yung magbabago sa bending moment dyan. So yan yung kailangan nating pitasin. So okay. So the approach concerning yung spandrel can be treated as follows. Na kunwari ay meron kang spandrel na ganyan. Then yung spandrel, kukunin mo lang yung area ng spandrel dito. So we have 10 plus 2. So ano yung 10 plus 2 na yan? So ito yung 2, tapos dinagdag natin yung 10. So ang ginawa lang natin, ito inusog natin pababa. Mamaya babalikan natin yung pag-usog pababa niya. So meron tayong 10 plus 2. So meron tayong 12 as yung height ng spandrel natin. Sinabi daw second degree na curve ito. Tapos meron tayong 3 meters. 3 meters dyan. Tapos, ang ginawa lang ay yung curve na yan ay dinip down natin or inangat natin ng konti. So, so basically, yan plus some positive. So, meron kang positive na 2 dito, tapos meron kang 3 dito. So, dinagdag mo ito dito sa negative na value. So, meron kang plus and minus. So, meron kang plus nito, tapos minus nito. And that will be equal to here and here. So, yan yung magiging area under the curve natin. Let me just check. Or, kung nalilito tayo, alam ko medyo nakakalito to, hahanapin lang natin using similar spandrel na method. So, ubus na yung zoom kasi basically totally naka-zoom in dyan. Sige, zoom in. Dito natin gawin. So, ito na yung una natin na-establish. We define the spandrel. You have this spandrel right here. Then, meron kang 2 degrees na spandrel. And what we wanted to find is itong point B. So, yun muna yung una natin ginawa. Ano yung value ni point B? Ano yung value ni point B? So, ano yung distance na to? XB na ito. Yung XB na yan ay defined to be kung saan ang height niya ay equal to 2. So this is 2 kilonewton. And if you were to compare that with 12 kilonewton, and we say that we have a distance 3 meters as your base ng inyong spandrel. So what we are doing here is to impose a similar spandrel na formula. Yung similar spandrel na formula natin, if, maglalagay lang ako ng subscript dito, if this is W sub O, and this is the W that you need to find, and this is your X, and this is your L, your general formula for the similar spandrel will be the W sub O X over L, tapos kung ano yung degree ng ating curve. So kung n is equals to 1, magiging similar triangles lang siya. Kung n is equals to 0, yan, uniformly distributed load yan. So lahat sila ay equal to one another. But what we have is second degree. So meron kang, tas W sub O natin ay 12. Tapos meron kang X na unknown. Ito yung X sub B natin. Tapos meron tayong L na equal to 3. Tapos meron tayong 2. Alam natin na ito ay equal to 2. So pwede natin gawin, i-simplify pa natin to. So what we have is 1 over 6. Tapos meron kang XB squared over 9. So we have 9 over 6 or 3 over 2 x squared. So meron kang x is equals to square root of 1.5. So yan yung value ng x natin dito. So ito yung value ng x natin. So square root of 1.5. This one right here. So bakit natin siya kinailangan? So yun yung naging tanong. So bakit kailangan? Ako. So kailangan siya kasi yung parabola na pagganto na part can be treated as merong kang rectangle. So this is 2. Tapos this is square root of 1.5. So this is square root of 1.5 and 2. So, ang ginawa natin, ito, na minus ito. So, meron kang area 1, area 2, minus area 1. So, yung kalalabasan niya will be yung area in violet. Yung A to small letter B. Right there. So, yun yung makukuha natin from that. Then, after that, ay kailangan pa nating makuha yung total area under the curve naman nitong isa. Let me just check. Okay. So, medyo brace yourselves lang ng konti. So, yung area nung part na yon, yung B to B, right here, itong area na to, that will be equal to your spandrel, yung buong spandrel, wait lang mali pala itong sa una. Ang ima-minus natin dito ay yung spandrel na to. Ito yung A1. So meron kang square root of 1.5 tapos meron kang 2 dito. So babalikan natin lahat yan. So meron kang larger na spandrel right there. So sabihin natin na ito ay A4. Although hindi A4 yung papel. Then meron kang minus. Magma-minus tayo ng rectangular na cross-section. This is 3 meters. Tapos meron kang 2 kilonewtons. Tapos ito, meron kang 12. Tapos meron kang 3. And this is 2 degrees. So, this one minus this one plus plus this one. Yung nakuha natin dito. So, ito ay A3. A3 is equals to A2 minus A1. Isa-isahin natin yan. So, meron kang A3 dito, tapos meron kang A5 dito. So, unahin natin. Si A2 ay equal to square root of 1.5 times 2. Si A1, yung spandrel natin na inverse, since 2 degrees siya, so meron kang 1 over 3, yung base is 1.5, yung height ay equal to 2. So therefore, we have A3 to be equal to 2 over 3 square root of 1.5 times 2. So ito yung area nitong part na ito. Okay. Now, for the second one, so A4. A4, meron tayong 1 over 3, yung area ng spandrel natin. Base ay 3, height natin ay 12. So, meron tayong 12 dito. A5, meron kang 3 times 2 is equals to 6. Tapos meron kang A3 na already equal to 2 over 3 square root of 1.5 times 2. So, yung hinahanap natin na area, this one right here, so lagay ko na A7. A7 ay equal to 12 minus 6 plus 2 over 3 tapos square root of 1.5 times So saan natin gagamitin tong si A3 saka si A7? So si 8, yung hinahanap kasi natin, ano yung magiging talon from 0 papunta dito. So nakuha natin na value for A3 ay positive. So meron tayong 2/3 times square root of 1.5 and 2. So pagdating dun sa point B, so at over a distance of 1.5, square root of 1.5 meters, square root of square root of 1.5 right here, yung magiging value niya ay magiging equal to 0 plus that. So meron kang 4/3 times square root of 1.5. So dito nagma-maximum yung ating value. And we kind of take note lang yung nangyayari dun sa value ng ating shear. Initially, mataas, may kataasan yung value niya, so may sloping up siya. Then pagdating dito, naging 0. So, yung itsura ng curve mo, meron kang sloping up, then dito magsi-zero siya. So, trace lang natin. Ito yung yung curve ng unang segment na. So, this is rather than 2 degrees, this is 3 degrees. Right there. And after that, ay saka natin ima-minus yung nakuha natin dito. So we have 6 minus 2/3 or 4/3 times square root of 1.5. So pag minus natin siya, pagdating natin sa point B, ay meron ka ng, asan na yung point B? Point B, meron na tayo dito na, evaluate ko lang para di ko ma-overestimate. So meron kang negative 6 dito. Kasi minus natin, ito. Minus natin, ito. Minus natin yung 6 minus 4/3 times square root of 1.5. So magka-cancel out lang yung 4/3 square root of 1.5. Magiging negative 6 siya. And i-trace lang natin. So third degree hanggang ganyan. So yan yung itsura ng function natin. Tapos, what we have is triangular na naman. And katulad lang nung sa similar triangle, hanapin lang natin kung nasaan yung point C natin. So, pwede mong gawin ay i-project ulit. Ito na naman, 12 na naman pala. So, 12. So, meron kang 12 dito. Tapos, meron tayong 3 meters na naman. Oh, nakasawaan. Kasi hinahanap natin saang value ng x, merong value ng 2. So, gamitin lang ulit natin yung formula ng similar spandrel. Yung W sub O natin dito ay 12. Yung x natin, yung unknown. Yung L natin ay ito is 3 meters. So alam natin yung W to be equal to 2. So use yung formula ng similar spandrel. So meron tayong 2 is equals to, meron ka palang n is equals to 1. So 2 is equals to 12 times x over 3 raised to 1. So all we need to do is to find the value of x. So yung value ng x na yon ay equal to 0.5 meters. So meron kang 0.5 meters dito. So ito ay 0.5 meters. And kapag nagawa mo na yung sa 0.5 meters, pwede mo na makuha yung total area under the curve netong triangle na to. This is negative area pa rin. So bababa pa yung value natin. So from negative 6, dadagdag natin 10 times 2.5 divided by 2. So meron kang area na to, this one is 12.5. Yep, 12.5 kilonewton meter. So from negative 6, bababa pa siya, magiging negative, lalo pang dumaos-dos. naging negative 18.5 yung value ng ating slope. Then, ano pa rin, medyo gagaan ng konti pag ganyan yung curve niya. And this is 2 degrees. Then after that, ay meron tayong concentrated, teka lang, meron pa pala nito, 0.5 and 2. So, 0.5 and 2. Meron tayong 0.5 and 2. So, meron kang additional na 0.5. So, pagdating dito ay magiging negative 18 na lang. And pagdating doon sa negative 18, meron daw clockwise na bending moment. Since clockwise siya, externally, so internally, counterclockwise, so positive yung magiging contribution niya. So, dadagdag siya by some value M. By some value M. Okay yan. Wait lang. Okay, so konting saglit lang. So lastly, so yung clockwise na moment na yun would represent yung pag-angat ng M natin. So what this is also telling you, pagdating dito sa part na to, ay meron kang 2 area na equal to height of 2, tapos width na 3. So meron kang additional na 6. So kapag dinagdagan pa natin ng 6 ito, dapat ay magsasara siya. So, dapat ay magsasara siya. So, ito ay additional na 6 kilonewton meters. So, ganito yung itsura ng shear and bending moment diagram mo. So, what we have is M plus 6 is equals to 18.5. Yan yung panghahanap natin and makukuha natin na M is equals to 12.5 kilonewton meters. So it is only through drawing and evaluating yung areas under the curve ng inyong shear diagram will you be able to construct your bending moment diagram and derive the needed na equilibrium equation para maisara natin yung diagram natin. So yung pag-angat na to na 6. So again, 0 degrees. Ito. Kaya naging linear na function siya. So since positive siya, so ina-expect talaga natin na magkakaroon ng increase sa bending moment function natin. Pero we also take note na dapat magsara siya to 0. So medyo konting geometry talaga siya. Sige, ang tanong? Sir, nawala yung audio nyo. Okay. Meron kasing nag-exam na estudyante. So, inaantabayanan ko rin. Since wala namang pumunta ng face-to-face, edi doon ko na rin pina-exam. So, kakatapos lang niya, nag-submit. So, ganun mo makukuha yung applied external moment at point C. So, ang haba ng dinaanan. So, ang demanding. Tapos, location of the maximum moment measured from point A. So, nakuha naman natin, hindi pala 18.5. So, sorry, mali. Hindi 18.5. 18 lang. Itong 18 na part na to. Lahat yung 18.5. Itong 18 na part na ito. Ito yung kinailangan kasi ng joint action nung M at saka nung part na ito para magsara siya. So yung maximum na bending moment natin, nabigay ko na, 18.5. And yung location ng maximum bending moment is yung point C natin. So doon, yung maximum bending moment natin. So ito na yung complete loading diagram natin. So nakumpleto na natin siya. Tapos, yung bending moment diagram, nagawa na rin natin siya. Then knowing yung values yung maximum na bending moment natin, since nakuha natin, negative ang bending moment natin na 18.5. If we check yung ating cross-section, kung ito yung moment vector natin, ito yung positive na moment vector natin, this has to be in tension, this has to be in compression. Pero if we evaluate yung centroid mo banda dito. So yung top na fiber mo, mas malapit kumpara sa bottom na fiber mo. So you'll be expecting kung paganto yung moment vector mo, ito will be in tension, this will be in compression. Mas malaki yung compressive stress mo kaysa kay tensile stress mo. Pero kung negative yung bending moment mo, nandito yung tension, nandito yung compression natin. So mas mataas yung tensile stress na makukuha mo rito kaysa sa compressive stress. So yun yung trick dito. Hindi ka lang basta-basta mag-Geronimo para makuha lang, okay, naglagay lang ako ng positive na bending moment. Tapos kinuha ko lang yung tension and compression dito. Yun na yung nireport ko rito. Kailangan mo i-account for nasaan yung maximum positive bending moment, nasaan yung maximum negative na bending moment. Then titimplahin mo lang, okay, ano yung mga tensile fibers, ano yung mga compressive fibers ko. Tapos, pinapatanong din, ano yung transverse shear distribution at point B. So, this point right here. So, in-evaluate natin, anong value ng shear niya? So, negative 10 kilonewtons. So, meron ka ng I na nakuha dito. So, meron ka ng centroidal axis. Kunin mo lang yung Q. And kung gusto mo makuha, shear stress distribution. So, katulad lang to ng sheet work na hindi nyo natapos. So, gagawan nyo to ng shear stress diagram. So, yung shear stress diagram nyo will kinda look like this. So, yung shear stress diagram nyo will kinda look like this. So yan, yung itsura ng shear stress diagram. So kayo ang magsosolve niyan para makuha nyo kung ano yung mga values. Again, nagmamatter yung value nito, yung value nito, yung value sa neutral axis natin, tapos yung value nito. Alam natin na tau is equals to 0 dito, tau is equals to 0 dito, tapos ito, tau, dalawa yung values niya. And din nandito yung tau max natin. So yun yung guide natin for your PS4. So feel free to ask questions if stump kayo on something. So huwag kayo mahihiya na i-refer sa group chat natin yung mga queries natin. So recorded naman tong meeting, so pwede nyo naman balikan. So nag-overtime na tayo. So thank you all for attending and see you all after Holy Week. So i-refresh natin later on yung yung AMM at saka DIM natin with more examples. Okay, so good luck sa ating PS and that will be all.